عاصف الأنين بداخلي كم مرة قد ذاق قلبي من أساه محن تمر وكم كرهت مصابها لكن رأيت الخير يسكب في أنا كم مرة قد ضقت من عظم الباب.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين ما بعد. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. I hope you enjoyed the last video, which highlighted that the divinely appointed imams were more than willing to relinquish their appointment under duress, karihan, mukrahan, no problem. They were coerced, they were forced, they were weak, no problem. I agree. But this new Rafidi that has sprung up on various TikTok lives and now is going to Speaker's Corner and claiming victory. As I said, there's a week left, so inshallah ta'ala I will see you at Speaker's Corner bi-idhnillah al-kareem. Now, the young shabab love to frequent TikTok and join lives and have debates and discussions, and I'm too old for that. I've got, a whole YouTube channel that I run myself, solely edit, research, and I ain't got no time to be spending 4 to 5 hours on live streams, with all due respect. Now, brothers send me clips, as and when, saying, Haji, he said this, he said that. So anything that's relevant or pertinent, I might just record a video on YouTube, just to get it out there. As I said, this channel for me is just for me to produce content and cascade and propagate information from authentic primary sources. And those who disagree with me are more than welcome to obviously contact me privately or even make videos against me. I ain't got no issue with that. So Abu Mukhtar joined the live and had a debate regarding the superiority of Abu Bakr and Umar, or lack thereof according to him. And he presented evidence to argue that Abu Bakr and Umar are not superior because of a said ghazwa, or conquest that the Prophet ﷺ instructed. Now what I'll do is, I'll drown him in his hypocrisy. I will drown him in his hypocrisy.
I love it. He landed where I wanted him to. Subhanallah. Tabaqat al-Kubra, Ibn Sa'd, volume 2, page 189 to 190. The Prophet put Abu Bakr and Umar under Usama's authority to go on an expedition. Now, Musannaf Ibn Abi Shayba, volume 6, page 392, hadith number 32305. Usama's expedition, Abu Bakr and Umar were put in Usama's expedition as soldiers. So Usama was made the leader of Abu Bakr and Umar. Listen to this now, ya Shias. If someone is made the leader of someone, it means they're afdal, it means they're greater than them, right? Who was Usama? Was Usama someone that was greater than the rest of the Muslimin? Who was Usama? Usama was a 17-year-old freed slave. Usama was a 17-year-old ex-slave, a child. He was a child. He wasn't from the Muhajirun. He wasn't from the Ansar. He wasn't from the Sahabakun or the Awalun. And mashallah, Abu Bakr and Umar were put as a soldier under Usamah bin Zaid. I know he was the son of Zaid bin Harith, you jahils. Okay? And why did Usamah bin Zaid, who was made the Amir, the leader of Abu Bakr and Umar?
Abu Mukhtar, don't call him Jahil, please. I invited him here to talk to him.
No, bro. I'm gonna massacre this guy.
No, Abu Bakr and Umar were put under Usama. Abu Bakr and Umar were put under Usama, who was an ex-slave. He was 17 years old.
Okay, that's your point, yeah? Can I respond?
One second.
Yeah, he was 17 years old. Yeah, he was 17. Okay.
So Usama is afdal to Abu Bakr and Umar. Usama is afdal. Okay. And he wasn't Muhajirun or Ansar. So if Abu Bakr and Umar are under Usama, if a 17-year-old is in charge of them, a child, then how are they qualified to be the Khalifas when the Prophet never put them in any position of authority or power? Where'd you get this from? And they never went to the expedition. They never left. The Prophet kept on telling them, leave Medina, and they wouldn't leave Medina. So you said everyone you said everyone who the Prophet put in a position of power remained in a position of power. No, they didn't. Because Abu Bakr and Umar were supposed to be soldiers in Usama's expedition. Okay?
Is that a position of authority, you jahil?
Are you stupid, bro? The Prophet made them soldiers in Usama's army.
Okay.
You heard Abu Mukhtar Faizan mention that Usamah bin Zaid was instructed by the Prophet ﷺ to lead the Ghazwa to Ar-Rum. And Abu Bakr and Umar and various other companions, which we're going to get to, were under his command. And according to the logic of Abu Mukhtar, that it entails he is superior to Abu Bakr and Umar, and that by default means that Abu Bakr and Umar are not fit enough to be the leaders of the Muslimin. Okay. Now, he also was sarcastic by saying he is a freed slave, a child, and he was a slave, and emphasized on that point. And without sounding disrespectful, he doesn't understand Arabic properly. Whenever he does debate, he always asks his interlocutors, when they're reading from the primary sources, whether they're reading from Miratul Uqul, when they're reading from books that are not translated, he always say, don't go to thaqalain.net or sunnah.com. So you're not on that level, mate. You're getting this information fed from, we know who. I don't need to mention it. But what I'm going to do is, I could assure you, he doesn't know how to read those books. He doesn't know how to read it. Now, he mentioned Tabaqat Ibn Sa'd, and he mentioned that, regarding the event of Usamah bin Zaid being instructed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into that book, right? And then what I'm going to also show him is that, okay, if you're using that principle that Usamah bin Zaid was in charge of the army, which the Prophet ﷺ instructed him to lead, so Abu Bakr and Umar are under him, so that means that he is superior. Let's see if you're consistent, because I'm going to drown you in your own contradiction. I will show you. Now, before I present, he also mocked Usamah bin Zaid by saying he's a freed slave, he's a mawla, he was a child and whatnot. So let's go into this. I'll show you, he hasn't even read the actual narration. So as you can see on screen, we've got At-Tabaqatul Kubra. At-Tabaqatul Kubra by Ibn Sa'd. So that's the name of the book, all right, you jahil. And he mentioned that Abu Bakr and Umar were under Usamah bin Zaid. So let's go into it. فَلَمَّا أَصْبَحَ يَوْمُ الْخَمِيسِ, that when Thursday came, I guarantee you he doesn't even know the days in Arabic. Even numbers, like I could promise you that. But this guy's a jahil, he's just getting everything fed to him. That Usamah bin Zaid was given the liwa, okay, in his hand. ثُمَّ قال, and then the Prophet ﷺ said, اغزو بسم الله في سبيل الله فقاتل من كفر بالله. That go on the conquest in the name of Allah, in the path of Allah, and fight those who disbelieve in Allah. So, continuing on, that he was given the liwa, and the army was at a place called Jurf, that no one remained from the angle of the Muhajirin al-Awwalin, okay, except that they were delegated to this ghazwa, right? So the major al-Muhajirin al-Awwalin, they were delegated to this ghazwa. And فيهم Abu Bakr al-Siddiq, وعمر بن الخطاب وأبو عبيدة بن جراح وسعيد بن أبي وقاص وسعيد بن زيد وقتادة بن نعمان. And major Muhajirin were delegated to this particular conquest. So what happened? Now, this is where I'm going to pause and I'm going to play back when Abu Mukhtar Faizan was kind of laughing sarcastically when he mentioned about Usama bin Zaid being young and whatnot. Let's hear it back.
Greater than the rest of the Muslimin was he? Who was Usama? Usama was a 17-year-old freed slave. Usama was a 17-year-old ex-slave, a child. He was a child.
So you heard the little giggle. He's a freed slave, a child, a slave and whatnot. So let's carry on. So what happened? فَتَكَلَّمَ قَوْمٌ وَقَالُوا. So some of the group of people started speaking, and they said, now it doesn't say who said, all right, so don't come to the conclusion it was Abu Bakr or Umar, it was a group, okay? And they said that we are, like, this ghulam, this young kid is in charge of the Muhajirin and Awwalin. And then the Prophet ﷺ got angry. He got angry. غَضَبًا شَدِيدًا. He was very angry, right? So what did the Prophet ﷺ said? He said, after coming out and then going on to the minbar, or ascending the minbar, and he praised Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and he said, أما بعد أيها الناس فما مقالة بلغتني عن بعدكم في تأمير أسامة. That he said, what has been said, that has been informed to me from some of you, or about some of you, in connection to me making Usama the Emir. And then the Prophet ﷺ said, like, if you have issues with my leadership, or regarding my appointment of Usama, then you have issues with my leadership from before. And then where the arrow is over, because I don't want to go too much into it, it mentions that فَإِنَّهُ مِنْ خِيَارِكُمْ, that he is from amongst the best of you. So Usama was from amongst the best of you. All right, and that even includes Ali radiallahu anhu. He is from amongst the best. So Usamah bin Zaid is from amongst the best, includes Abu Bakr and Umar and Uthman and all the Ashar and Mubashirin. And you were saying, oh, he's a young kid, he was a slave and whatnot. So coming back, so this is the narration, right? This is the narration. Now, he also added that if Usamah bin Zaid was in charge of Abu Bakr and Umar, that means he is better and superior than Abu Bakr and Umar. Do you know that when Muawiya was the Khalif, where Hasan radiallahu anhu conceded the divinely appointed leadership position, you could argue, well, he's still an Imam. Well, then why do you cry when Abu Bakr and Umar was given the pledge? And he's still an Imam. You know, your principles change. But anyway, leave that to one side. And Yazid was made Amir of a conquest. And you know who was under him? Do you know? The first conquest of Constantinople? Do you know or you don't know? Okay, let's go into it. As you can see on screen, we've got Al-Bidayah wa Nihaya. So it mentions that Hussain radiallahu anhu was in the time of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he obviously was a companion, and he passed away, alayhi salam, wa huwa anhu radin, and the Prophet alayhi salam was pleased with him. وَلَكِنَّهُ كَانَ صَغِيرٌ. But at the time, he was very, very young. ثُمَّ كَانَ الصَّدِّيقُ يُكْرِمُهُ وَيُعَذِّمُهُ. And even a Siddiq, after the Prophet passed away, used to respect and honor him. وَكَذَلِكَ عُمَرُ وَعُثْمَانُ. And Umar and Uthman also. وَصَحِبَ أَبَاهُ وَرَوَى عَنْهُ. And he accompanied his father and narrated from him. وَكَانَ مَعَهُ فِي مَغَازِهِ كُلِّهَا. And he was in all of his conquests. في الجمل والصفين. And he was in the Jamal campaign and the Saf. كَانَ مُعَذَّمًا مُوَقَّرًا. And he was distinguished, honored, and respectable and whatnot. وَلَمْ يَزَلْ فِي طَاعَةِ أَبِيهِ حَتَّى قُتِلْ. And he was always in the obedience of his father until he was killed. Right? And then when the Khilafah was given to his brother, right, or transferred to his brother, right, وَأَرَادَ أَنْ يُصْلِحَ مُعَاوِيَةَ شَقَّ ذَلِكَ عَلَيْهِ. That when Hasan radiallahu anhu was intent of making a sulh with Muawiya, he opposed that, right? And he didn't really agree with his brother in that. بل حثه على قتال أهل الشام. And he encouraged to fight the people of Sham. So Hussain radiallahu anhu was different to his brother. In a nutshell, Hussain radiallahu anhu said, like, I would want to imprison you in this house until you like kind of empty yourself from this issue, meaning that you want to give a soul. And then what did he mention? Subhanallah al-Azim. After then, if you do, then I would release you. And then when Hussain radiallahu anhu realized that he weren't going to change his position, he remained silent and submitted to his brother's opinion. And then he mentioned when the matter was, established and the Khilafah Muawiya was obviously complete and established. Then it continues and mentions كان الحسين يتردد إليه مع أخيه الحسن. That Hussain radiallahu anhu hesitated but went with his brother Hasan radiallahu anhu. فكان معاوية يكرموهما إكراما زائدا. That Muawiya basically honored them with so much, like he honored them so much. يقول لهما مرحبا وأهلا ويعطيهما أعطاء جزيلا. That Muawiya radiallahu anhu used to give them so much. ويقول لهما مرحبا وأهلا ويعطيهما أعطاء جزيلا وقد أطلق لهما في يوم واحد 100,000. Listen to that. That Muawiya used to say to them, welcome, right? He said to them, welcome. And he used to give them so much to the point that he gave them in one day 100,000. And he said to them, take it. I am the son of Hind. Wallahi, I have not given you to anyone before, and I will not give anyone after. Meaning the amount that he gave to Hasan and Hussain radiallahu anhu. فقال الحسين, and then Hussain radiallahu anhu responded, listen to this, subhanallah. Wallahi, لن تعطي أنت ولا أحد قبلك ولا بعدك رجلين أفضل منا. He said that, wallahi, you will not give to anyone before us and after us two men that are more virtuous than us. Radiallahu anhuma. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. And then he mentions when Hasan passed away, Hussain radiallahu anhu used to go to Muawiya every year and he used to give him and used to be generous towards him. Look, Muawiya radiallahu anhu had good. See, don't listen to the Rafidah. They had good relationships, I assure you. It's just them creating this hysteria. Anyway, And then listen to this. This is why I want to get your point to. So look how much I've read, right? I don't just present blanket stuff like, in volume 195. Look at 195 from Tabaqat al-Kubra. Naam al-Bidaya wa Nihaya. I've just literally read from 476, sorry, and into 480. I read a paragraph or two. You won't find him do that. Anyway, so now where the important part is. Subhanallah al-Azim. And he can fact check it as well. And Ibn Kathir mentions, وَقَدْ كَانَ فِي جَيْشِ الَّذِينَ غَزُوا الْقُسْطَنطِينِيَّةَ مَعَ ابن معاوية يزيد. And he was in the army which went and did a conquest on Constantinople with the son of Muawiya, which was Yazid. And this was in the year 51 after Hijrah. Now, come back to me now. Now, Abu Mukhtar can argue, well, it doesn't mention in there that Yazid was the Amir of the army. No problem, right? No problem. You can argue that. Let's present some information. As you can see on screen, we've got the book تخريج الدلالات السمعية للخزاعي أبو عمر وكان أبو أيوب مع علي بن أبي طالب في حروبه كلها. That Abu Ayyub was with Ali ibn Abi Talib in all the wars, right? ثم مات في قسطنطينية من بلاد الروم في زمن معاوية. And he passed away in Constantinople, in the land of the Romans, during the time of Muawiya. And during that particular ghazwa, it was تحت راية يزيد وكان أميرهم يومئذ. And it was under the leadership on the raya of Yazid, and he was the leader at that particular army. As you can see, it mentions ولما أمر معاوية يزيد على جيشه إلى قسطنطينية. That when Muawiya put Yazid in power of the Jaysh of Constantinople, basically Abu Ayyub al-Ansari said, like, who is this youth that is in charge? And then he got ill in the Ghazwa, and then he obviously requested to be buried in Constantinople. As you can see, we got Tariq, Medina Damashq, and he mentions وهو Hussain bin Ali bin Abi Talib bin Abdul Muttalib bin Hashim bin Abdul Manaf. So obviously he introduces him. He is a grandson of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and goes into it in much detail. Now he mentions that he was delegated, from Muawiya to go towards a conquest towards Constantinople with an army, and then he mentions الذي كان أميره يزيد بن معاوية, and then the leader was Yazid ibn Muawiya. Okay, Yazid ibn Muawiya. So come back to me now. So if we go by your principle, right, Usamah bin Zaid led Abu Bakr and Umar and various delegations of the Muhajirin, right? But this is what the Prophet ﷺ instructed. We can't argue or dispute that. But the Prophet ﷺ came out and he heard what he heard, and he said, فَإِنَّهُ خِيَارِكُمْ. He is one of the best of you. So when you say the child, the free slave, but going by your logic, Hussain رضي الله عنه was under Yazid in an army when Muawiya was in power. Hussain رضي الله عنه gave bay'ah to Muawiya. We got it. We proved it from the previous video. So does that mean that Yazid is greater than Hussain رضي الله عنه? Hasha lillah. Doesn't mean that at all. So please, like you're just ignorant, mate. You're very ignorant. And as I said before, you could go on as many TikTok lives as you want, mate. Go for it. You know, have your laptop in front of you and just quote references without even realizing what's in the actual bloody text. Just read out whatever's been given to you. Honestly, you're ignorant. But I'll see you at Speaker's Corner. Okay, today is what? The 29th of September, 13th of October. I'll see you at Speaker's Corner, and we'll see how far you get, right? We'll have a discussion. No problem. But you're going to see me at Speaker's Corner. I don't trust you. You know, you cut recordings when you record calls. You record calls without even confirming it. Like, you're just a fraud, mate. But carry on. You know, you're Rafidi Shirazi type, right? Go for it, mate. So take care of yourselves. Sallallahu alayhi wa Muhammad.
ليس الغريب غريب الشام واليمن إن الغريب غريب اللحد والكفن إن الغريب له حق لغربته على المقيمين في الأوطان والسكن سفر بعيد وزاد لن يبلغني وقوتي ضعفت والموت يطلبني ما أحلم الله عني حيث أمهلني وقد تماديت في ذنبي ويسترني تمر ساعة